I was excited when Airfix announced that they were going to do a Bristol Bulldog in 1/48 scale. I'm even more excited now I got my hands on one. Find out what you get in the box right here on Gary's Stuff. Hi there, I'm Gary. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back if you've been here before. Today, indeed, I'm looking at the Bristol Bulldog in 1/48 scale, a brand new release from Airfix. I'll have a look at what you get inside the box and have a closer look at the plastic, at the instructions, and of course, the decal sheet. Now, if you enjoy the show and you'd like to support the channel for free, you can do that best by subscribing. If you then hit the bell as well, you'll be notified of all my future content as it is published. And of course, anything you see on my channel that you like, please do remember, give it the old imperial thumbs up on the like button below, because every like counts. If you'd like to make a more concrete contribution to the channel, you can use any of the online partner programs I have listed in the information box below. One of these is the Airfix affiliate program. So if you follow the link down there, buy this or indeed anything else from Airfix, then Airfix at no cost to you will have to make a contribution to the running of this channel. And you can still use your hobby reward points, get more hobby reward points, and if you're in the Airfix club, still get your 10% discount. None of that is affected. Okay, let's make a start and have a look at what you get with the 1/48 scale Bristol Bulldog fighter from Airfix. So here's the Bristol Bulldog in 1/48 scale. It's here, Bristol Bulldog Mark II, made by Airfix. The product code here is A05141. Box artwork by Adam 2B, of course, and depicts a Bulldog on number 3 Squadron RAF skimming through the clouds, presumably over southern England, when it was jolly good to be a pilot. On this long side here, there's some information on the Bristol Bulldog, a gleaming silver steed, it says. And there are, according to this, when it's complete, it'll be 159 millimeters long. It'll be 215 millimeters in span, and there are 120 pieces to make the kit. The 3 schemes that are provided are shown here. The A scheme is the box art of number 3 Squadron RAF. B scheme is number 3 Squadron, number 17 Squadron. What's it? I think that means number 17 Squadron. That's a typo. It wouldn't be Airfix without a typo. And the C scheme is aircraft of number 1 Flying Training School in the Royal Australian Air Force, which is possibly the one I might do. Actually, I like doing. It's between these two. I'm not going to do the box art one. It's between these two. Paint callouts are here, as usual, with Humbrol numbers. The kit comes with a token for 2 flying hours and a reminder about the Airfix Club. Now, if you're in the Airfix Club, you can collect these flying hours tokens towards a free kit in the future. If you're not a member of the club, or you're in the club and you don't want to collect them, please do consider sending your flying hours tokens to Models for Heroes, a superb charity. Information on them is in the information box below, but they support former members of the armed forces and emergency services who have mental health issues as a result of their service, and model making is a superb activity, so it will go to help a proper hero. The kit is listed at skill level 3, so I wouldn't be building this if I've never made anything before. If you've made a couple of simpler, smaller kits and you're happy with using polystyrene cement and then okay, have a go at this. But you need a little bit of experience before tackling this, I would imagine. On the other long side are the standard warnings in many languages. It's a Hornby official product. The cartograph label here means that the decals are all cartograph decals, which is fantastic. And there's a usual range of things here. Don't let it near anyone under the age of 3. It's intended for modelers of age 8 or over, and you can recycle a lot of the contents because it's polystyrene. Okay, let's have a look and see what we get inside the box. So it's very exciting, so I haven't even had a look inside yet. So all of this is completely unscripted because I don't know what's inside yet. Which is probably the way you like to watch my videos. The possibility of surprise and amazement or shock or horror or whatever. Okay, well, no surprise. First thing we see is a big polythene bag full of grey, dark grey parts, modern plastic. It's kind of like a very slightly brownish dark grey. There's a decal sheet, and some of these decals are properly big, which is fantastic because they were in those days. They did like to show off the roundels. And we have an instruction sheet as well. We'll have a look at all these bits in a bit more detail. Frame A has the two fuselage halves, the tailplane, propeller. This is the internal structure of the cockpit area. And this is some of the parts of the engine here. Frame B is the upper wing, which comes in two halves, comes in two parts. The wheels also come in two halves each, and all of the struts here and the ailerons. Frame C has much of the cockpit interior, the instrument panel, the seat, frame, and so on, and the seat itself. It has the bombs that the aircraft can carry here, bits and pieces of the engine, design, gun barrels, gun for the upper wing, and a few more struts here and there, the cabin struts and things like that. Frame D is simply the lower wing, again in two halves. Frame E, now these are all the cylinders for the engine here, and this is part of the front assembly of front fuselage, and this of course is the rudder that goes on the back of the fin. I wonder if the fact that the cylinders here are different, potentially a different fin as well, there may be another version of this coming out later on. It would make sense. Frame F is the transparent frame. There's just a sort of a very rudimentary windscreen on the Bulldog. The rest of these bits here are lights, and this is a cover for the big light that goes underneath the fuselage. Okay, if we have a close look at the plastic here, the moulding's all very nice. That's going to show up very nicely indeed. The sort of the sink of the fabric over the frames is almost minimal. What does concern me slightly, I don't know if you can pick it up on here, there's like these little spots of, like here, just in there, you can see that tiny sort of slightly darker spot of something, and it does rub off. I do worry whether there's some release oil being used on. Again, there's here, this spot here. Can you see this sort of little spot here? And this is fresh out the bag. This hasn't been anywhere but the manufacturer and Airfix's warehouse. So I'm going to wash these parts because I do wonder whether they've actually got a bit of release oil on them or something like that shouldn't be there. The colour generally of the plastic is fine. You can see there's the occasional sort of heat line where the plastic's at slightly different temperatures where it meets up in the mold. But other than that, I mean, the modelling itself is lovely. The modelling itself looks very fine, looks very clean, looks very crisp. The panel lines as such as they see again here, this massive stain here. That's not supposed to be there. And it does kind of wipe away. That's not a good sign. Yeah, the rest of it's lovely. Oh, I love the mouldings of these engine parts. The sort of the cowling, if you like, for the engine. It's very nice. The way the fabric appears to sit over these structural elements is very nice. Nicely moulded. Look at these ripples here. That you won't see those in the kit. As soon as the primer goes down, that will disappear. The interior structure all looks very nice. don't know. Is there some mould lines there, perhaps? Yeah, you can see the mould lines here. Only you're not going to see them, obviously, because the ones at the top are going to sort of gently sand out. The ones at the bottom you're never going to see again in your life. That's part of the exhaust frame. Yeah, the interior of the fuselage is, well, the one on the wall is quite basic because, of course, you've got the metal tube structure here, and this is just a sort of a view of the interior. And again, this is the hole you'll be looking through here. Sorry, here, upside down. That's the hole you're going to be looking through. You're not going to be seeing a lot of this stuff, so it's not such a major issue. But it's clean. It looks quite tight. It's got the undercut molds here to protect the line of the joint there, so it should join together okay, as long as you can sand this nub down properly, of course. I've noticed that a lot on Airfix kits recently. Yeah, that looks okay. Let's have a look at some of the other parts. Wing, of course, probably the most prominent part of the design of any biplane are the wings. And again, you can see the moulding of the apparent moulding around internal structures actually done quite nicely. It looks very good to my eyes anyway. Here the plastic seems a lot cleaner, a lot cleaner. Again on the underside. This is the main wing, the top wing. Now you notice here, these two tiny holes here, these are where the rigging goes. So if you're going to do rigging, these tiny spots here, it gives you the anchor points for the different bits of rigging wire that you're going to use. Now, whether you use wire, you can actually slot it directly into that at the end, or if you use some easy line or something like that, at least it gives you a point, an anchor point to aim at, which is very good. Wheels are here. As I say, these are two-part wheels, which is, I don't know, slightly annoying. Anyway, the struts here look okay. And we have a look at some of the smaller individual parts. There's the two tiny propellers for the electrical generators for the radios and stuff like that. Don't have to have those, by the way. Those are optional. For sort of panels, rod bars and stuff like that. Oh, this is the seat side of the seat here, and the seat itself, seat panel in the middle is there. It's like a radio panel or something like that. The main instrument panel is there. You could easily dry brush that. Although there are decals as well, you could easily dry brush that. That's quite a decent amount of relief to help you out. That's the rudder, the trenches underneath the rudder bars. That's the control column there with ejector pin blanks either side. Yeah, it's all very nice. It looks okay. It's good. It's very Airfix. The level of detail is very Airfix, let's say. It's good enough. It's plenty good enough. More detail. You could probably get more detail in, but would you really need it? Would you see it? No, that's a different issue. Perhaps you would, perhaps you wouldn't, but then maybe the moulding in the plastic would be more expensive. I think these are gun barrels here. Yeah, gun barrels. So yeah, they're all very nice. Nothing earth-shattering, but then nothing terrible either. A very nice set of parts, really. They're going to go together very easily, I suspect. I hope. Famous last words, of course. The decal sheet, as usual, Airfix split things up quite functionally, which is quite nice, actually, I have to say. So at the top here, we have all of the common decals, the big national marking school. Although this is an Australian Air Force Royal Australian Air Force. They basically were supplied in national markings in the late 20s, early 30s. All of the stencils, though, including stencils that overlap onto the roundels on the underside of the wings, they're included, which is a nice touch. Then you have these decals here, which are for the aircraft from number 3 squadron, which is the box art kit. So these are the side flashes. This is the top flash on the wing, and the flashes for the fins. What they have done on this, and for this one here, which is the 17 squadron markings, is they've provided the flash, the tail fin flash complete, or if you want to paint your own, mask off and paint your own, they've given you a set of the serials as well. So if you want to mask off the red, white and blue yourself and spray it on to make it, I don't know, maybe it's going to look better, then you still have these serial numbers you can then overlay on your own paintwork, which is a nice touch. And then here we have the markings for the Royal Australian Air Force aircraft down here. So the colours and the registration of the colours, very, very fine indeed. As usual, these are cartograph markings. We're not messing around with these. They're very, very good. The colours are spot colours. There's no like four colour printing or any of that stuff here. These are all spot colours, which is why they're expensive. These are all sort of silvery hoop things are for the inside of the wheels, just under the tyres, apparently. And you can see, very sharp, very precise. Colours, as far as I can tell, are absolutely spot on. And of course, if we go and look at the actual detail, it's pretty much flawless detail as usual. You know, we've seen it before. This is the 0.5mm pencil lead. You can see these are 0.4, 0.5 mil high letters and numbers, whatever, and they're very good. You know, generator plug 12 volts, all these things, and the instrument panels, very clean, very clear as well. The instructions, very much the modern way of Airfix. On the front, 1/48 scale Bristol Bulldog Mark II. In English, French and German, they have a sort of short summary of the history of the aircraft and specifications as well, and also a reminder of the product code A05141, the size, which are 215mm span, 159mm length, and that there are 3 decal schemes included. At the bottom of this first page, there are some thanks to people who have helped out, but also this interesting point: surfaces to be painted should be cleaned before parts are removed from the sprue. We call them frames. Wash in warm soapy water, rinse and dry thoroughly. Normally, that's not an issue. I think on this kit, I'm going to, because I've already seen some spots that look like release oil to me. Not happy about that. On the inside of the front cover, the Spanish and Swedish versions of the information we had on the front, the history and the specs. There are some very basic instructions here in many, many languages, general points about how to assemble things, and a translation of all the icons used. Then we go on to the instructions themselves. Absolutely normal Airfix fare. Red highlighting of bits you've just made somewhere else in the last step normally. There's occasional sort of colour highlights of colour callouts of bits and pieces. The instrument decals, they point out what the decals actually look like rather than just number them, which is nice as well. In here it points out that you don't have to use the generators if you don't want to go on the wing, because they didn't always carry them, depending on whether or not they had radio going, I suppose. But if you are having them, there's holes to drill. It's generally a very nice kit indeed. There's bits to take off here and holes to drill. Whenever I see there's bits to take off, that means in the future there might be another kit. But anyway, that's just me being suspicious. One interesting thing here is it says don't attach the cylinders to the engine system before it goes on, because it won't fit. That's because, you know, the cylinders here have to fit through these holes here, and the holes here that aren't straight, they're curved. So the engine block, as it were, goes in, then the cylinders slot in around it, and there's an assembly method for doing that, and they'll fit around here. Again, because these are separate, I suggest that might be a later engine is going to be here with different cylinders, and that would be for the Mark IIA version, which would of course mean Douglas Bader's aircraft that he was very, very nearly killed in. All the other bits and pieces here are very, very straightforward, I have to say. They all look very simple. What is very interesting here is they provide what you could call a comprehensive set of rigging instructions. So where you do the rigging step by step, where the rigging points go, they're lettered lowercase to uppercase in everything, and then you get another view as well. These are very good and very useful, rather than just leaving you to it. Because they've put in the anchor points for you, they're at least helping you out where all the rigging lines go. And then, of course, the radio aerial as well. And then we come to the schemes. So the first one here is the box art scheme of an aircraft of number 3 Squadron at Royal Air Force Upphaven in Wiltshire in 1929. So this is the one that's on the box, as I say. It's got this gloss emerald colour, and you only need it for the wheels because all the other stripes on that are provided in the Decals sheet. The point of interest is that the area around the engine and the pilot here, the front end here, is chrome silver. The rest of it is the Airfix or Humbrol 11 silver, and I've always said the silver number 11 is much more like what we call high-speed silver, which is silver paint mixed in with some white paint, and it gives us sort of a slightly duller silver colour that most RAF aircraft were painted with after the war in the early jet age, for example. So, and this is probably like a reflective of a silver dope over all the fabric parts. The metal part has a much, much shinier chrome finish. So that's going to be quite interesting to try and do that. The second scheme here is an aircraft of number 17 Squadron at Upphaven again in 1930 on this occasion. Everything's pretty straightforward. The highlight colour here is matte yellow, 24 trainer yellow type colour, which should be straightforward enough to do. And the final scheme option is this one from the Fighter Squadron of number 1 Flying Training School, Royal Australian Air Force at Point Cook in Victoria in the 1930s. There it is. It looks very nice, and I'm itching to build it. If you're itching to see me build it, then the best thing to do is to make sure you've subscribed to the channel and you've hit that bell, and then you'll get notified of all my future content as it arrives, including the build of this aircraft. And of course, anything on my channel you like, please do. Remember, give it the old Imperial thumbs up on the like button below, because every like counts. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hope to see you again on the channel very soon. Take good care now, and goodbye.